Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new day of Road to TCG Worlds 2017. Now last week was, I would say, the most successful week of the channel, and I was really impressed and blown out of like the water or whatever by how many views, how many subscribers, how many likes and comments the channel got last week with the Sun and Moon daily video special. So I wanted to ask you guys, realistically, would you guys want me to do daily content? Daily English content, I mean, because I do daily content, but English TCG content is pretty much 3 times a week, right? Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So based on last week, I was thinking maybe I could do Monday and Tuesday standard, or maybe Monday standard and Tuesday expanded, and then Wednesday standard once again, and Friday expanded. So I'd probably do the expanded videos only in English, not in Spanish. That might be a good solution, but the support last week was just so good that it's something I would genuinely consider. So if you guys would like to see that, if you guys would like to see more expanded content, I mean, I'm sure I would benefit from playing more expanded. I can't promise you guys I'd be at the highest level like from the beginning, but it would definitely be something that could benefit the channel and could benefit me in terms of potential regionals attendance next year or next season perhaps. And I don't know, it would add a little variety to the channel as well, and it would mean daily TCG content. So if it's something you would like from me, definitely let me know in the comment section down below. I would really appreciate it. And having said that, this week will be a regular week, so let's review the deck. Now Anaheim Regionals is this weekend. I will be there, so I hope to see a ton of you over there. If you see me, definitely stop and say hi. I'll be really happy to meet you and greet you and whatever else. And yeah, I mean, there's just so many new cards and so many new potential decks or modified decks in the format that I obviously won't be able to talk about all of them from now until Friday, but figured between last week and these 2 decks, the Vespiquen deck, or the updated Vespiquen deck you have in front of you, and the Yveltal list that I'm going to be using on Wednesday, I feel like that should cover like the biggest changes and the biggest decks coming out of Sun and Moon. So Vespiquen, good old Vespiquen. I'm pretty sure we all know what it does at this point in time, but just in case, 90 HP, stage 1, be revenge 20 plus 10 more damage for each Pokemon in your discard pile. Now, as you can see, I am running 29 different Pokemon cards, so it's fairly simple, if you can say that. To get Pokemon in your discard pile, half of your deck is Pokemon. So anything you don't need in certain matchups, you can just throw away through Sycamore or even Ultra Ball, or just let them get KO'd. The idea behind this deck is to play a 6 price game. So even though we are using 2 EXs and 1 GX, there's definitely certain matchups where you just want to use Vespiquen and that's it. You don't have to use the EXs, you don't have to play down the Shaymin because you also have Octillery. So the idea behind this is to play a 6 price game. Now, the additions to the deck. I based this deck list off of Dylan Bryan's 2nd place deck list, so shout out to them and the Someone's PC crew. And I took out the Klefkis, I took out 1 Remoraid, and I took out the Stadiums, the Lucky Helmet, which I felt was a bit odd, a bit of an odd selection. I also took out the Olympia as well, in favor of Floatstone. But the base or the foundation of the deck is pretty much the same. The additions are the 4 Passimian. Now, with Dark being so popular, I feel like Passimian is an average card, but in the right metagame, it can be a great card, okay? So if the metagame is going to be full of Dark type decks, Passimian actually makes a lot of sense, like a lot of sense. Team play allows you to do 10 plus 30 more damage for each benched Passimian. Therefore, you can max out at 100 damage with 3 benched Passimians. Or if you're attacking with Mew, you can even deal 130 damage. off of Mew. So not too shabby for a double colorless energy cost, high HP as well, a single retreat cost, psychic type weakness. That's, I guess, the biggest detriment maybe, but definitely a very good card, and it helps cover Darkrai. I feel like Darkrai is going to be really popular. Dark in general is going to be really popular in Anaheim, and that might make for some interesting deck choices, but that also means Zebstrika is probably going to be really useful going into that metagame, simply because in Expanded, California is really known for their dark type, like really good dark type Pokemon players. Therefore, Zebstrika and Passimian, or the coverage of lightning and ground, is really good right now. Really, really good. So you do have that, and then we have one Tauros-GX. It's another attack you can copy off of Mew. You can leave the Tauros-GX active to take a hit and potentially use Rage or the Mad Bull GX. It is the only GX attack we are using in the deck, so it's not too bad. And yeah, and if you don't need it, you just discard it, so it's no big deal. And 60 for 2 double colorless energy is a very solid amount of damage. One Shaymin to go with our 2/2 auxiliary line, 4 unknown, of course, because it's draw plus Pokemon in the discard pile. One Oranguru, which I feel is really good because it's kind of like the Lucky Helmet, or kind of achieves what the Lucky Helmet wanted to achieve. But imagine a late game scenario where your opponent can either Lysander, KO Octillery, or Oranguru, right? Sure, they will always KO Octillery because it gives you more net cards, but having Oranguru as an option right on the bench is really good. Its attack is also not terrible, and you can copy it off of Mew as well. And there's also many scenarios where either they want to KO your Vespiquen, or they could KO the Oranguru, but then the idea behind Oranguru is to set up another Vespiquen. So it facilitates you going into a late game, which is something this deck might have struggled with a little bit without Octillery or without Oranguru. So I definitely like the inclusion of it. And the one Rattata, because it essentially becomes a plus 40 benched Pokemon, you know, as you remove things like Fighting Fury Belts or things like that. The supporters are really standard. I stuck with a 3 Vespiquen from the original list. I'm gonna give it a try. I do have the 4 Sycamore, 2N, 2 Lysander, and with so much other Pokemon draw with Octillery, Unknown, Shaymin, and Oranguru, and the Acrobikes, maybe 3 Vespiquen should be fine. For DC, of course, the only energy we are using, 2 special charge to recover those. We of course lose to any sort of Giratina deck that manages to attack just once, but that's a loss you can afford to take because between the new GXs and the basic Turbo Darks and things like that, I don't think there's too much room for Giratina to be good at the moment. I might be wrong, but I don't think, at least for the first regional, I don't think Giratina will be too relevant. Maybe if Vespiquen keeps dominating, we might see a resurgence of Giratina, but for now, I feel like it's still gonna take a backseat. So that's the deck. Let me jump into the ladder with Vespiquen Passimian, and let's see how we do. I can't make any big promises on this deck. It might be awesome, it might be awful. The Skyfield inclusion is to facilitate the bench management, especially if you end up using Passimian as an attacker. So we'll see how that works out. There's definitely other options to use, such as Forest of Giant Plants, such as Faded Town, so you're not completely restricted to those. And even as we reduce, well, speaking of Skyfield, there's the 2 Skyfields, and even as we reduce the Vespiquen counts, my beautiful, beautiful deck decides that it's worth it to start with 2 of them. So what are you gonna do? We are up against Rainbow Road, so the stadium war is not going to be relevant at all. I don't think Zebstrika is going to be relevant either. So I'm gonna discard the Zebstrika and the Skyfield. If off of the Shaymin, which I hope is available, which it is, I managed to draw an N, at least I saved the 2 Berserkers. I don't need to save the Skyfield. My opponent probably plays Skyfield himself. And okay, so okay, let's use Farewell Letter. See if we can get something out of this. Okay, we do find an N, thankfully. That was either really fortunate or really unfortunate. I'm not gonna attach the TCE just yet. Or maybe I should. The odds of my opponent taking a KO next turn are really low, I would say. Like really, really low. I will give him extra cards off of this N, but I don't need too many Pokemon on my discard pile either to KO Xerneases. So that's cool. I do find a Passimian, I do find a Combi. I'm not gonna use Passimian this. Yeah, I'm not gonna use Passimian this round. So I could attach the other Floatstone to the active Combi and retreat into the other Combi just to try and conserve my TCE. I don't think I will be needing 2 Floatstone, so I can afford to do this. I might end up regretting this though. Like if I somehow whiff. Is this playing too safe? If I somehow whiff 2 yeah, that means I need 2 Vespiquen. Well, yeah, I'm just gonna pass for now, but maybe I should have attached the Floatstone to a Shaymin instead. I'm not entirely sure. I'm keeping the Rattata just in case my opponent finds a Floatstone and attaches it to the active. Seeing that Hoopa makes me a bit nervous though. We see an Umbreon, which is not going to be relevant. We see a Volcanion, which adds the double typing. And I guess my opponent only needs a DCE plus a Max Elixir to get a KO. So maybe I should have retreated. He whiffs the Elixir though, so that's good news. He didn't go for Shaymin, so he obviously has the Shaymin in his hand. There we go. There's a Fighting Fury belt, but that's why I kept Rattata in my hand. But my opponent needs Floatstone, DCE, and a Max Elixir that hits off of a 6 card end. So the odds of him getting all 3 cards are relatively low, I would say. They are it is a possibility, but I would say it's relatively low. I do find 2 Vespiquen, but I actually don't find a supporter card. Okay, but I top deck a Sycamore. That's cool. I'm not going to bench the Tauros. I'm definitely not going to bench the Tauros, simply because with so many benched Pokemon and the fact that I have no Stadium, I will definitely not be able to use their Rage attack. He will always have one-hit KOs. So I will Acrobike first, and I will keep the Octillery, I guess. How many Pokemon do I don't have 10 Pokemon, right? I only have 4. Plus the Octillery, that's 5. Plus the Unknown, that's 6. So yeah, if I'm gonna 2-shot the Xerneas, I might as well just take advantage of this. And there's even an argument to not use the Unknown just yet. I only have 4. I mean, he's not going to play anything such as... I guess I'll use it, because ideally I find a Combi here. Wow. Wow, that's actually impressive, maybe? I could use Passimian as a last resort to maybe try and get a prize on Umbreon EX. Could also Intelligence Gathering instead, but I'm gonna go for the safe B-Revenge. Urban didn't really advance much. Now he needs a Floatstone and a DCE in order to save that Xerneas, and well, he does Lysander my Shaymin though, so there's a misplayed Floatstone. There's the Misplayed Floatstone. I would love to find another DC. I wouldn't mind using it to retreat. I will use the Acrobike. Man, I'm going to lose the Revitalizer. So I will definitely need Mew, I think. And I will definitely need to take some KOs on EXs. So I'm gonna bench the Mew. And I'm going to Sycamore. Why Sycamore? Because my opponent is having a bad hand. And I get to put extra Pokemon in the discard pile. There's the other combi, there's the other Vespiquen, and there's the DC. So I'm actually pretty happy with this. I've only used one Ultra Ball. So maybe I can find an Ultra Ball off of this Acrobike? No. I'll keep the special charge. Okay. I also find Oranguru, so I now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 Pokemon in my discard pile. That's 110. That's 110. I will get a KO here. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's 110 plus the 2 Vespiquen combi that gets KO'd. That's 13, so I will need 3 more. So I guess all I need to really do is find an Ultra Ball. That's what I need. So I'm gonna Abyssal Hand here. As long as I eventually find one Ultra Ball, I should be good here. Farewell Letter. Still 3 Ultra Balls in theory, but nope. Still 3 Ultra Balls in theory. And I know there's at least one more Vespiquen. So I'll take my price card. Only one. But that's cool. I'm dealing 120 damage exactly. I no longer have access to Rattata, but there's Ultra Ball off of my prices. So that will mean that even if Xerneas KOs me back here, I do have the KO back. I get to recover both DCs. And I also have recovery off of Oranguru and Octillery. So we're pretty much in a perfect scenario here. Well, maybe not perfect, but definitely ideal. There's a Rainbow Force, 290 damage. That's definitely why I did not want to play down any my Tauros rather. And I get the other Vespiquen. I have the Ultra Ball in my hand, which is perfect. 2 more Pokemon in my discard pile. That should be enough to get the KO on the Xerneas. I'm even going to use the Unknown, even though I probably don't need it at this point. I might as well. Why not? And there's a Lysandre for future turns. And I will special charge the 2 special energy back. And now, if I find a special energy, I might actually benefit from attacking with Mew. I might. I'm not gonna use the Acrobike just yet. But I mean, he only has one backup Xerneas. And in theory, I don't even want to attach the DCs simply because I might end up having to retreat at some point or another, so the DC pays for that cost, especially Oranguru's. And yeah, I don't want to run out of options to retreat. And with Oranguru and Octillery, I should have enough resources, and with such a thin deck, where I can actually just find a DC every single turn. So that really shouldn't be a problem. I generally think it shouldn't be a problem. There's another DC, there's another KO, but as I mentioned, my opponent has no backup attacker right here. Okay, he has no backup attacker. So I could even maybe have the luxury of attacking with Mew this turn by copying V-Revenge. And I think I'm going to end here. because my opponent has 6 cards, so he will go down to 4, but less cards simply means less odds of him finding the next Xerneas to recover off of that. And like I've mentioned quite a few times now, I have the Oranguru, I have the Octillery to recover, so I'm pretty set here, I would say. And I even find a Lysander for a potential KO next turn. So I'm just gonna be revenge. I will deal a ton of damage, 190. That's enough to KO. And once again, if my opponent wants to respond to this, he has to find a Xerneas, his 4th and last Xerneas. He has to find an elixir that hits, and his 3rd out of 4 DCs. So things are not looking good for my opponent, and there's a victory. So there we go. There we go. Vespiquen, guys. Vespiquen, is it still a contender? Is Zebstrika still its best partner? Maybe the deck would benefit more off of a supporting EV line. Maybe running 2 or 3 EV, and then a Jolteon would give pretty much the same effect as a Zebstrika in terms of what you want to accomplish. And then Vaporeon would give you outs against Volcanion, and then Volcanion, and then Flareon would give you outs against the new Lurantis GX type of things. So maybe maybe that's the right play, maybe it's not. I did see my opponent is using a pure dark type deck, and she is going first. Maybe I should have started Blitzel. I kinda do want to bench the Passimian, because Passimian probably applies a ton of pressure. And hopefully, since she is going first, maybe she'll attach Fighting Fury Belt right off the bat. It is Darkrai. So if we see that, then we get a chance to get rid of it, and then the 4 Passimian threat is real, or becomes real. Yeah, definitely should have started Zebstrika though, or Blitzel rather. Okay, so my opponent plays the escape rope. He does us a favor, I would say. He plays a Silent Lab on turn 1. That's not good news. That's not good news for our draw engine, but thankfully we do have the Octillery line as well, so we shouldn't suffer too much. And I immediately found a counter stadium, so we should be okay here. There's a Fighting Fury Belt I was talking about. I will replace the stadium immediately. There's no reason not to. I'm gonna play down the other combi, and let's start using acrobikes. Man, I guess I'll keep the Body Rescue just in case. Having a Vespiquen in a discard pile is not a big deal, and I will simply end here. I do give extra cards to my opponent, but I'm more worried about me setting up than him not setting up, if you know what I mean. I will also bench the Oranguru, I guess, and I have 2 Passimian now out of a potential 4. Of the acrobike, I will keep the Vespiquen, but I'm not a fan of my current setup. I have no good supporter. I'm still missing 2 Passimian, and getting both of them is going to be really hard. It's actually going to be really hard next turn. There's Yveltal. Wow, so a quad Nest Ball engine, probably. Quad Nest Ball engine replaces my stadium immediately, which is once again not good news. Definitely not good news, because we've barely used any abilities. Like, we haven't used a single unknown. There's only 2 Pokemon in my discard pile at this point in time. So I'm gonna promote the combi. And there's an unknown. But I only have one stadium now. So maybe benching the unknown. I mean, I could sacrifice it as fodder. But I could have also used Lysander onto the other Darkrai to maybe buy myself a turn. And okay, well, if I attack with Passimian right now, I mean, I would deal 80 damage, right? I would actually deal 80 damage. If... I guess that's my best way of dealing damage here, because without a max elixir, he won't be able to KO Passimian either. So I guess a 3-hit KO on the Darkrai X is not the end of the world. Maybe. Could also potentially save the Passimian by retreating and attacking with the other one. And who knows, maybe off of the Sycamore, like I would have to get really lucky, but maybe off of the Sycamore I can find my second stadium. I haven't used any search cards, so I have no idea if it's in there or not. I actually have no idea if the other stadium is in there or not. But yeah, this deck is definitely very susceptible to, or very weak to Silent Lab. Very, very weak. Professor Kukui, ouch. Okay. I definitely did not consider the Professor Kukui option. With another Dark, he has the KO. Professor Kukui, man. Professor freaking Kukui. And I only have 2 Pokemon in my discard pile. Only 2. I get another Sycamore. I think I need to keep attacking with Passimian, because Vespiquen is just not dealing enough damage at this point in time. I can go for another Passimian here, but at the same time I feel like I really need Octillery. And yeah, but if I don't go for that, that unknown is like the worst idea I've had ever. Literally ever. Maybe I should just sacrifice Oranguru. I think that's the best choice of action here. Or rather the unknown. I'm gonna sacrifice the unknown, or try to. He might have a Lysander. He definitely might have a Lysander. Yeah, we're in a really bad position here. A really bad position. I don't know why you would attach that energy to the Float Stone Yveltal though, and he keeps doing that. Man, if I find the other stadium and 2 Passimians, that would be like, things would just go crazy. Berserker for Lysander. Ugh. So you will get the own Passimian. Now there's absolutely no way I can deal enough damage at this point. I only have 5 Pokemon in my discard pile, and he's already, my opponent's already down to 3 prizes, which is obviously not great. Already 2 DCE. Gonna put them both back. Okay, I have to attack with Vespiquen now. I have to. So I might as well... Well, I can maybe buy myself a few turns, right? I potentially use Tauros as well to put pressure. Or I could just not grab anything. Is the other stadium in there though? It is. So there's a chance I can't find it. Okay, I guess I'll grab the Tauros. And I'm gonna Lysander up the other Darkrai. Gonna bench the Tauros, and I will Abyssal Hand. For a 5 clean cards. No Stadium. I find the Buddy Rescue, but I really wanted to use that for, or rather to find a Passimian. So I might actually end up using N. Right here. Yeah. Well, actually I just used Lysander, so never mind. Never mind. And I will keep the Passimian. I haven't lost hope on using Passimian as an attacker this game. So I will be Revenge. And then next turn I will end. But I feel a lot safer now with Octillery. Hopefully I will eventually find the Stadium. It's 1 in 18 cards, but I would not be surprised at all to see an Olympia already from my opponent. I find it strange that we have yet to see an Elixir though. That's just weird. There's a Sycamore, so probably digging for the escape rope. There's one in the discard pile already, maybe a switch as well. An escape rope, Acrobike. That's like a real Turbo Dark, you know? My opponent's deck is definitely like a real Turbo Dark with no Shaymin, but Acrobikes and Sycamores and maybe even random receivers. Nest Balls, no Ultra Balls. An Yveltal Break, another baby Yveltal, and my opponent just passes. Okay. So, still not in the position I would like to be in. But that pass might allow us to come back into this game. A well-timed, like Passimian drop with a Stadium could be huge. It could be absolutely huge. So, is that something I want to do here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Pokemon. So I will deal 90 damage. But I can use the unknowns. If I play the Skyfield down, yeah, I think I should. I have to. I think I have to. So that's what I'm gonna do here. I'm not gonna bench the Blitzel, I don't think. Do I use Unknown first or do I use Octillery first? I guess Octillery first is better. Do I bench the Blitzel though? No, I'm not gonna bench the Blitzel. Passimian and Special Charge. What I want to see is an Ultra Ball. That's what I want to see here. But yeah, getting the unknowns in the discard pile is great. And there's the Ultra Ball. That's awesome. Seeing the Ultra Ball right there is really awesome. And I find 2 Ultra Balls. So off of that, I can get rid of the Zebstrika line. Find another unknown. Unknown, should I? Yeah. Find another unknown. And is Yveltal Break a threat? I'm not concerning. I don't think so, because nothing on my bench has damage. So I will use the other unknown. And I get a Lysander, so I'm gonna use the Ultra Ball to get rid of the Sycamore and the N, because I kind of want to KO the Darkrai on the bench. I'm gonna grab the other Passimian. Maybe I'm focusing too much on Passimian though. And I'm gonna use Oranguru for the first time. For a single card, yes, but it's a Vespiquen, so that's cool. And I will be Revenge for 150 damage. More than enough to KO the Darkrai X. Our 2 prizes will be Floatstone and Acrobike. Floatstone is actually pretty cool to get. No EXP share from my opponent, which is weird. And he immediately promotes the Yveltal Break. So finding a DT should not be a problem. It should definitely not be a problem off of a 7 card deck with Octillery and Oranguru. And I feel like I should be able to KO this Yveltal, which is the only threat. Like, he KOs me, he goes down to 2 prizes, and then I KO the Yveltal. I KO the Yveltal. Or he KOs me with a brand new Darkrai? Is that what he's going to do? He has a Sycamore, man. What is this? Who does he take a KO with? And I dealt 150 damage, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 13, 15, 17. So I would need to discard one more Pokemon in order to KO a non-belted Darkrai EX. He's also down to 3 cards. I could use that to my advantage, maybe. Or maybe not. No more Silent Lab though. I also have Tauros as an option. Who does he take the KO with? I mean, what I can do... Okay, he will take the KO with Darkrai. So I need one more Pokemon in my discard pile in order to win, or I can try to KO the 2 EXs. So either one works. I get the Buddy Rescue, which kind of goes against what I'm trying to accomplish here. Okay, I'm gonna play the Acrobike. Okay, I'm gonna lose at DCE. Okay. I can KO the bench Darkrai EX if I use a Lysandre. I have no way to discard one more Pokemon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 15, 16, 17. All 4 Ultra Ball are in my discard pile. All 4 Acrobike. So the only way I could discard a Pokemon is through oh gosh. Do I have the Revitalizer? I don't. Okay, so I 100% need to KO the benched Darkrai this turn. And I need to make sure I set up a Vespiquen for next turn. So I'm gonna use Buddy Rescue. Allow my opponent to get back whatever he wants. I will get back a combi. So the Oranguru, or rather the Passimian strategy is not going to work out for us. I will bench the Octillery. I will use a Lysandre onto the Darkrai. And yeah, like the last card, I guess I'll use Oranguru first, doesn't really make a difference. I'm not going to deck out though. There's no risk of that. And I'm gonna use Abyssal Hand now. 2 TCs, okay. So even a 2-card N should not prevent me from winning this match, because he can't KO both, like the Vespiquen and the combi, right? So, and I even get Shaymin off of my prize cards. So even if he ends me down to 2, I have Oranguru and Octillery, and he will get a KO on the Vespiquen. I guess his best bet is to KO with the Yveltal, and therefore I would need a DCE, a Vespiquen, and a Lysandre. So that's 3 cards. That's not exactly easy. There's another Darkrai. That benching that might mean he's going to end. Oh, 3 Silent Lab in the discard pile. So he doesn't run 4. That's why my Stadium has been able to stick. At this point in time, I wouldn't mind him replacing the Stadium, of course. But yeah, getting the combi out was just absolutely crucial. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 14, 15, 16. So if he kills a Vespiquen, that 100% means I have 16 Pokemon in my discard pile, so another Vespiquen can clean up either of the bench Darkrais that he currently has. He maybe it's a she, she realizes this and therefore will not attack with Darkrai. But if she doesn't end, we win. And if she ends, I think we have a very, very high chance of winning. She should end though. She only has 2 Vespiquen and 1 end in the discard pile. So we should see an end coming right here. We definitely should. But I even have Shaymin as an option to like draw the rest of my deck. So that should be fine. It really should be fine. There's the Vespiquen, there's the N, there's my broken heart, but I have confidence that off of a 9-card deck, we can find the 3 cards we need, as we have Octillery, as we have Oranguru, and as we have Shaymin now. So there's Shaymin and there's the DCE. So now we only need, off of a 6-card deck, because we're gonna top deck, so off of a Shaymin to 5, yeah, there's just no way I whiff. There's just absolutely no way I whiff here. Absolutely no way. There's the KO. That's completely fine. Why would you not attack with the break? I have no idea. Doesn't really make a difference. I have to make sure I don't misclick here. That could be another issue. So promote the Floatstone Octillery. There's the Vespiquen top deck. So there's now absolutely no way I can lose here. I will Shaymin for my whole deck. I will actually Shaymin for my whole deck. And as long as I didn't count wrong, this should be game. I should have exactly 16 Pokemon in my discard pile for the win. If not, then I lose anyways. So yep, 180 damage, clean KO onto the Darkrai. Another DCE, another combi off of the prize cards, and there we go, guys. There we go. Pretty proud of that win. That's a very neat version of Turbo Darkrai, I would say. Very neat version. No Shaymin liability, I guess. He has no bad starters. So a very interesting version of Turbo Dark. I would consider using an Oranguru maybe. If you don't want to Shaymin, then use an Oranguru. But yeah, that's gonna be it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Vespiquen definitely still a contender for Anaheim for this metagame. Based on the very limited testing, maybe Zebstrika could be replaced by an EV and the different types of EV in order to cover more weaknesses and still have the lightning type advantage. Sure, you still rely on Vespiquen, but it might be worth trying out. And yeah, that's gonna be it from me, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and definitely let me know if you are interested in daily content. I'd be willing to commit to that, I think. So yeah, thank you guys so much. Leave a like on the video if you can, and I will see you on Wednesday. Bye bye.